Let us discuss Ambedkar's Buddhism, which is called Navayana Buddhism. Navayana Buddhism rejects all the previous schools of Buddhism. Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana. Ambedkar proposes something entirely new. And he rejects certain concepts. For example, he rejects the idea of the soul, karma, rebirth. We can understand Ambedkar's rejection because one can think modern science doesn't support them. And Ambedkar he thought, giving a religion which is based on science. So this is understandable. That is one aspect. Second thing is, Ambedkar rejects which is very difficult to understand, is the idea of moksha itself. The idea of moksha, the liberation, nirvana. To Ambedkar, that is simply control over passions. So, as a state of mind that is transformed fundamentally, Ambedkar doesn't think so. So, this also rejected. But when he is rejecting nirvana also, I think Ambedkar is fundamentally placing Buddhism in a wrong way. I would say to Ambedkar, Buddhism is about the external world, whereas I think Buddhism is about the internal. I want to say that Ambedkar is placing Buddhism in the external, whereas Buddhism is in the internal world. So, Ambedkar's location of the religion is itself misplaced. Okay. So let me explain this particular point. It is said Buddha went to a household as a bhikshu in one story. And the lady of the house shouted at him that you are a lazy fellow, what are you doing, and things like that. But Buddha did not react to that. Buddha, of course, was very quiet and pleasant. That lady was shocked. Though I am shouting at you, how are you calm? She asked. She asked, I am giving you abuses and I'm shouting at you, and why are you calm? Okay. So her question is, I am giving so much and you are calm. How is it possible? Buddha said, what is there in your hands? In that hand, she finally brought some food. Buddha said, this is food. She said, it's food. And Buddha said, what happens to the food if I don't take it? She said, if you don't take the food is with me. Then Buddha said, it is true of your abuse also. That is, somebody is abusing, and if you don't take, it doesn't reach you. Somebody is abusing, and if you don't take, it doesn't reach you. Which means Buddha is saying that whatever the external is creating, it affects you, it reaches you only when you take it. And I think central thing about Buddhism is how not to take the external. And it is not about changing the external. It is about how not to take the external. Take a central story about Buddha leaving the palace. It is said Buddha didn't know sorrow because his father didn't want to see him. But Buddha left and he saw old age in one, sickness, old age, and then death. So Buddha was supposed to have seen these things and asked the question, why is there sorrow? And he was in search of answers to get rid of sorrow. And when he was in the last stage, he told himself, sitting under the Bodhi tree, that unless I solve the problem of sorrow, I won't get up. And after some time, he did get up. He found solution to the sorrow. But then, did he find solution to sickness and old age and death? He didn't. So, what is the solution to sorrow without solution to sickness, old age, and death? How can Buddha claim to have understood solution to sorrow without overcoming sickness and old age and death? Buddha found that source of sorrow is internal and not external. Sickness happens, aging happens, death happens, but the way you take it is the source of sorrow. And you can take it in a way that there is no sorrow, and that is liberation. which means changing the external is not Buddhism. Buddha is not opposed to changing the external. Create a better society by all means. Provide health facilities. Prolong life expectancy. Take care of the sick. But that is not Buddhism. Buddhism is not changing the external, but the way you take the external. Your relationship with the circumstances outside you is Buddhism. And I would say that precisely is the difference between Marx and Buddha. Marx was talking about the external and Buddha was talking about the internal. Ambedkar spends so much time on Marxism and Buddhism but misses this angle at all, misses this angle completely. Buddhism is about the internal and Marxism about the external. External decides your character and change the external is Marxism. No matter what the external is, you can be free from sorrow is Buddhism. Though Buddha is not opposing creation of a better society. You change the external by all means if you can. But Buddhism is not about changing the external. It's about changing the relationship with the external. And Buddha thought all sorrow in a very unusual way is generated from within. That is the insight of Buddha and not from outside. And a better life is possible when one understands what is sorrow, how is it generated, and how one can be free from it. And that is what Four Noble Truths. That there is sorrow is the first noble truth. And there is a cause to it, desire is the cause. And this can be ended. And Eightfold Path is the way to end. That there is sorrow and desire is the reason and it can be ended. And Eightfold Path is the way to end. Point is not whether the desire is the source of sorrow or not. That's also a point, but what is more important is that sorrow is generated from the internal sources and solution is internal. So, Buddhism is about the relationship between the external and internal. He is proposing that there is a way to look at the external and there is a way to overcome no matter what the external is. And that is liberation. Liberation is not about changing the external circumstances. That is no religion at all. If that is it, if that is the proposal, or if that is the main proposal. In Ambedkar's Buddhism, do you know, he is rejecting Four Noble Truths. He rejects this, and he takes only Eightfold Path. But the point is, Eightfold Path is the means to nirvana. When you reject nirvana, what is the Eightfold Path for? How can one say, I'll take Eightfold Path but I don't believe in Four Noble Truths and I don't believe in Nirvana? It doesn't make sense at all. And that's what Ambedkar did. Ambedkar equated Buddhism as some kind of morality, good conduct, with which one should fight for the creation of a better society. And creation of the better society is the liberation. That is to completely miss the point. So Ambedkar decided to be Buddhist in 1935 and takes to Buddhism in 1956. In that conversion ceremony, he proposes certain vows that one should take. There are 22 in number. I categorized those 22 in terms of certain groups. So let us see that. So these are the 22 vows. No faith in Hindu gods. 3 vows are related to that. No ceremonies nor Brahmins to do them, and also renouncing Hinduism. 3 vows. No faith in reincarnation, and no faith that Buddha is a reincarnate. So 3 plus 3 plus 2, 8. These are about don'ts. And next, he gives certain values. 2 was respecting or bringing about equality, and 1 for compassion, and 4 a kind of a moral code. Don't steal, don't lie, no carnal sins, don't take intoxicants. Okay. And then 5 was deal with teachings of Buddha, but removing so many things from Buddhism, what is meant by teachings of Buddha? That is an issue. And at 2 places, Eightfold Path is mentioned. But again, what is the path for when nirvana as an idea is rejected? So these 22 vows really don't make much sense. Contradictory, missing logic, very selective, and in a way, there is no coherence among them. But this is the Buddhism that Ambedkar wanted people to follow. No logic, no coherence, centrality missed, and located not inside but outside, which is very important for Buddhism. Okay. So by locating religion outside man and in the society, he's bringing something which is close to Marxism. So I would like to say this is Marxayanam. So Ambedkar's Buddhism, I would say, is Marxayanam. Thank you.